I want to bring you back to The Legend of Zelda. This game was released in 1986 in Japan and 1987 in the US. At that time, it was the biggest, most epic game ever. It was more than a game, it was an adventure. It captured our imaginations and immersed us into the fantasy world of Hyrule. Link, Princess Zelda, the evil Ganon, and the Triforce would become beloved Nintendo icons for generations to come. There is a sequel to this game, released the following year, Zelda 2: The Adventure of Link. But never would we have guessed that this would be the only direct sequel to come, for the Zelda timeline will go backward, twist, split, or do anything but go straight forward. This left fans everywhere debating on what order the stories in the games take place. And back when Zelda started, nobody would have imagined the idea of such a complicated timeline. It's no easy feat to string together more than 14 games that generally have very few story connections and continuations. I don't claim to know anything, because nothing is absolute, and Nintendo has no official timeline explanation. I just want to give you a basic overview of how confusing it is. Originally, as we all know, on the Nintendo Entertainment System, there were only two Zelda games, The Legend of Zelda and Zelda 2: The Adventure of Link. The timeline at this point was very straightforward. Zelda 2 was a direct sequel, taking place a few seasons later, starring the same character Link, now a teenager or young adult. However, the Zelda in this game, who's under a sleeping spell, is reputedly not the same Zelda that Link rescued from Ganon at the end of the first game, as this Zelda has been asleep for millenniums. While fans waited anxiously for a third Zelda game, there never was a Zelda 3, but what we got on the Super Nintendo was a prequel, The Legend of Zelda: A Link to the Past. This game came out 4 years after Zelda 2, and it far succeeded our expectations. It went back to the original format, but made drastic improvements, adding a new Light World Dark World system and making the game's plot much more involved. For the first time in a Zelda game, we are told the history of Hyrule. In the beginning, 3 gods of wisdom, courage, and power create the land of Hyrule and leave behind a symbol of their power, the Triforce. It remains hidden away in a golden land where legends say anyone who finds it, all their wishes will come true. However, it's found by a thief by the name of Ganondorf Dragmire, and because of his evil nature, it transforms him into the monster we know as Ganon and the Golden Land into the Dark World. While he rules this Dark World, he also tries to take over Hyrule, but 7 wise men seal the gate to the Dark World and trap Ganon inside. Now that's all backstory. Now as the game begins, the evil wizard Aghanim has taken over Hyrule Castle and uses the life force of the 7 maidens to break the seal, to free Ganon. The 7 maidens are the descendants of the 7 wise men, and the last in line is Princess Zelda. The main objective of this game is for Link to defeat Aghanim and then go to the Dark World to rescue the 7 maidens and ultimately face Ganon. Now on the Game Boy, we were given Link's Awakening, which was the first portable Zelda game. It seems to take place right after A Link to the Past, treating it as its own new series of games, or either ignoring the original 2, or I don't know. Now, let's move on to the Nintendo 64, the first 3D Zelda game and the biggest, most anticipated yet, the Ocarina of Time. To my dismay, this game was another prequel. Upon release, it was announced as the earliest point in the timeline, and this is where all notions of Link to the Past being the first were shattered. Shigeru Miyamoto, the man responsible for all these great games, did an interview with Nintendo Power sometime before the release of the Ocarina of Time, and this is what he said. Ocarina of Time is the first story, then the original Legend of Zelda, then Zelda 2: The Adventure of Link, and finally A Link to the Past. It's not very clear where Link's Awakening fits in. It could be any time after Ocarina of Time. Now, whoa, I'm nobody to argue. Don't get me wrong, I wouldn't doubt the man himself, but how is Link to the Past the last? I had a hard time accepting that any game would take place before it, but now it's the last? Well then, why is it called Link to the Past? If it was meant to be the end, why wouldn't it be called Link to the Future? Let's remember when there were only 3 Zelda games, The Legend of Zelda, Zelda 2: The Adventure of Link, and Link to the Past. Was there any doubt that Link to the Past took place before the other 2 games? Even the back of the box says it starred the predecessors of Link and Zelda from the NES games. As the game begins, Zelda telepathically speaks to Link's uncle while Link remains in bed. She says, "Please help me, I am a prisoner in the dungeon of the castle. My name is Zelda." By introducing herself in this manner, it seems to set the tone as a prequel. Link's uncle tries to rescue her first, but when he dies, he passes his sword on to Link and tells him basically he's the new hope. It's easy to assume that this is Link's first adventure, but with all the new games, it's all screwed up and open for debate. The title Link to the Past could very well not be referring to the character Link at all. While it's undoubtedly a play on words, it could be totally referring to a link as in a connection, a chain of events. So, what event from the past can it be linking to? The Ocarina of Time? Okay, fair enough, but one problem. To believe that means to assume that they already had Ocarina of Time planned out back then, and that's playing a George Lucas. So, what right do I have to argue with Miyamoto? I don't. However, I can offer 3 explanations to why he says Link to the Past goes at the end. 1. He was being interviewed, and he was caught on the spot, so it could have been a simple mistake. 2. Link to the Past was once a prequel, but its place in the timeline changed, so his quote somehow correct. 3. It's just a game, so who gives a shit? So, let's get back to the Ocarina of Time. While it has to be a different Link in Zelda, it definitely seems to take place at the beginning. In fact, it seems to take place during the imprisoning war of the Link to the Past backstory and the origin of Ganon. During most of the game, he's in human form as Ganondorf, and at the end, he actually transforms into Ganon right in front of you. In Link to the Past, Link is usually compared to the legendary hero of time, meaning he's carrying on the tradition of the old Link from Ocarina of Time, or that could just be a legend, whatever. Now, once I got over the fact that this is yet another prequel, it also involves time travel, which just makes it even more complicated. In a similar fashion to Link to the Past's Dark World Light World system, Link here travels between his childhood and 7 years in the future, where Ganondorf has taken over Hyrule. So, you get to play as both young Link and adult Link. Young Link basically skips over his childhood to become adult Link and defeat Ganon at the end. However, Zelda sends Link back to being young Link so he can have a chance to live the skipped 7 years of his childhood. Now, a second Zelda game for the Nintendo 64 was released, Majora's Mask. This one is a sequel to Ocarina of Time, but wait, not a sequel to the end where adult Link defeats Ganon, no, it's a sequel to young Link after he got sent back. So now, any speculation of Nintendo ever making a sequel to Zelda 2 is deader than shit. They can't even make a sequel that follows in consecutive order. Instead, they just keep going back, and then maybe taking a small step up again, and then back again. We have a sequel to the original, a prequel to the original, a sequel to the prequel, a prequel to the prequel, and a sequel to the young Link of the prequel's prequel. What the fuck? At this point, if you want to try to make any sense out of this whole thing, then you just go right ahead, but not me. At this point, I really didn't give a shit. So 8 years since the last game on a handheld system, Link's Awakening, 2 new Zelda games were released for the Game Boy Color, the Oracle of Seasons and the Oracle of Ages. These games, depending on the order in which you played them, took place immediately after each other. On the first playthrough, the villains in each game were General Onyx for the Oracle of Seasons or Varen in the Oracle of Ages. But if you played through each game a second time and entered a series of passwords from the Link system, you can get the real ending and actually fight the revived Ganon. These games, however, could take place after nearly any Zelda game. Some fans speculated that they took place after Majora's Mask because of the similar characters. Some said that they came between Link to the Past and Link's Awakening, and some believed them to take place at the very end of the timeline. Still others felt it was another Link entirely. By this point, the timeline had changed. No longer was a constant among all fans. But no matter where you wanted to place the Oracle games, the main theme of the series remained true. The Ocarina of Time era, then the Link to the Past era, and finally, the Legend of Zelda era. It's kind of weird to think that the early 8-bit games are now actually taking place at the end. But whatever, that was before this whole timeline thing happened. But then, it got even more fucked up. The GameCube Zelda, called The Wind Waker, was about a young Link on the Great Sea who has to rescue his sister along with the help of a pirate girl named Tetra, who's later revealed to be this game's Princess Zelda. This game was supposed to be a sequel to the Ocarina of Time. Wind Waker's backstory told how after adult Link had defeated Ganon, Ganon returned, but Link, he's now non-existent because he was sent back 7 years where he lives his childhood as young Link and Majora's Mask picks up. So he basically disappeared from the present time. But now that Ganon's back, but with no Link to fight him, the three goddesses of Hyrule flood the land, sealing Ganon and the kingdom beneath the Great Sea. So, this is our big problem. Hyrule is flooded, so this game would have to be the end. Nothing could happen later if Hyrule's still flooded, unless somehow it gets unflooded again. So now, when debating the Zelda timeline, you usually either believe in one linear timeline or a split timeline. There's no generally accepted splittist or linearist theory, and yes, people who believe in a split timeline are called splittists, and people who believe in a linear timeline are called linearists. It's sort of like Trekkie and Trekker, except even more nerdy. A year before Wind Waker was released, another game was made in the series as an add-on to the Game Boy Advance remake of Link to the Past. This was the first multiplayer game in the franchise, The Four Swords. At this time, some fans believed that because the game was so radically different from the others, it didn't count. However, the idea it didn't count was quickly debunked on the grounds that it was nothing but an excuse not to think. Since this was largely a sub-game and the map was really just a basic setup of land with no true meaning other than to separate the three levels, most fans didn't consider it an important part of the timeline, and that it could go anywhere, although it was largely believed to either take place sometime before the Ocarina of Time or after Wind Waker. However, its significance greatly increased when in 2004 a second game in the Four Swords sub-series emerged, Four Swords Adventures for the GameCube. Although the Wind Mage Vaati was the primary villain of these two games, Ganon made an appearance at the end of Four Swords Adventures, having been reincarnated. This was when the timelines really took it in the ass, as many more possibilities were opened. Then the Minish Cap, also on the Game Boy Advance, is involved in the Four Swords saga as well. It tells of the origins of Vaati and the Four Sword, and is mostly believed to take place at the beginning of the timeline. That's right, another fucking prequel. How far backward can we possibly go? Maybe eventually it'll go back to Link and Zelda being the Adam and Eve of Hyrule, or it'll go back to the creation of Hyrule when the only life forms are microscopic. Micro Zelda. Maybe they'll make that game. Although I'm being sarcastic, many fans agree that it is hard to accept another prequel. Many are resistant to the idea of a game taking place before Ocarina of Time, as I am with any game taking place before the only one with past in the title. Many other theories place the Minish Cap at the very end, and still others clump it together with the other Four Sword games somewhere in the middle of the timeline. Others speculate that the Four Swords are their own separate series. However, most believe the Minish Cap is likely the first game in the entire saga, as its geography seems to be most similar to that of Ocarina of Time than any other game, and takes place in a time without many of Ocarina of Time's species being prominent, suggesting that the kingdom has not yet united all the races. That and the lack of the Temple of Time suggests that it falls several generations before the Ocarina of Time. Not to mention, it explains how Link first got his hat. But like any theory, somebody always finds a flaw. For example, Moblins are in the game, and Moblins are the pig-like soldiers of Ganon created in his own image. No Ganon, no Moblins. Or is it possible that Vaati is also capable of creating Moblins? Well, this one's up in the air, like dog shit shooting out of a cannon. Now, Twilight Princess, the latest Zelda epic on the Wii, seems to have no obvious spot in the timeline, but it kicks so much ass it makes you forget about it. Everyone has tried very hard to understand how these Zelda games could be logically and chronologically connected. And I swear, some of you have memories better than Dustin Hoffman and Rain Man. It's true, Zelda fans can recall countless character quotes, game prologues, and instruction manual text to back up their arguments. That's impressive. The fans clearly have a love for Zelda, and that's what drives all these theories about the Zelda world, because the games are so good, that's what makes people care so much. But let's stop for a moment and look at all these games as a whole, mainly the earlier ones. If there was some sort of a concrete storyline, a planned out logical order in the Zelda universe, it would be there clear as day. The creators of Zelda didn't think about a timeline. Now, because of pressure from the fans, Nintendo sometimes tries to inject things from previous games into newer installments, attempting to tie some of them together, but there isn't a sturdy foundation to do so. It's a puzzle that can't be solved. Look at it. It's a gang-raped, bitch-slapped, broken-down fucking mess of a timeline. No matter how hard the fans try to piece it all together, a new game comes out that just defies everything. Zelda started out as just a little elf kid running around stabbing bad guys, and it was a classic little adventure game, but today it's a juggernaut and has a cult following that's out of this world. That's why we've seen Zelda characters in Soul Calibur and Super Smash Bros. Where does Super Smash Bros. Melee fit in the mix? Link, Zelda, and Ganondorf are in the game, so why ignore it? It doesn't count, right? Well, excuse me! What about the cartoon? What about the games on the Philips CDI? There is Zelda, Wanda Gamelon, Link, the Faces of Evil, and Zelda's Adventure. And hey, Princess Zelda actually plays a bigger role in those games, so why don't you count those? Maybe because they suck diarrhea shit from an asshole fountain? But that's beside the point. The point is that the true heart of the Zelda games is the gameplay. If you can't enjoy playing the game, you won't enjoy the story and characters anyway. The end goal is that the game is fun, challenging, has some unique twists, and is a satisfying experience. So, instead of looking at all the Zelda games as a whole, you have to look at each one separately. After all, that's the way they were developed. It's not as though Zelda is like Lord of the Rings. Each Zelda game is a different legend and a different experience. You don't have to play the first one to get the story of the third one or even the 13th one, and that's really lucky for those who haven't been able to play them all, which is the case for most people. Zelda games are not meant to connect right down the line. They're not meant to tell the entire history of Hyrule. They're meant to be single, fun experiences. Now, I know it can be really fun to work on this puzzle, and it shows creative thinking, which I commend a lot of you for, but hey, don't sweat it. It's not something that deserves a loss of sleep. So, just enjoy the fucking games and have a great day. Last episode, we looked at the masterpiece of shit that is Action 52. Now, we're looking at the last game, number 52, Cheetahmen. This is like the feature presentation. There's a comic book that came with the game, and plans for a whole line of Cheetahmen action figures and merchandise. They must have spent all their focus on this one game, so this one's gotta be good. Right? It sucks, monkey butts, like all the fucking rest! Okay, let's go. Well, it's not as bad as the other games. For one thing, it actually has a story. The Action Game Master was at home playing his video game when suddenly an arm reached out of the TV and pulled him inside. Yo, watch the gonads. When he looked up, he saw 3 gigantic yellow bodies. It was the Cheetahmen. Oh, really? He began to explain. The Cheetahmen told of the enemies here in the game world. Don't worry, we will fight for you. The Cheetahmen ran off. And now, the Cheetahmen. What kind of story is that? The Cheetahmen are fighting for some gamer that got sucked into the TV, whom we never refer to again? What's this, a crotch burglar? Yeah, burglar's your crotch. Oh yeah, the enemies in this game are so inspired. They even resort to recycling characters from other Action 52 games, like Boob Lady and Saddam Hussein. Dude, think about it. A giant cheetah jumping over Saddam Hussein. Whoa, I never thought I'd see that. That's weird. Whenever you hit somebody, the music pauses for a brief moment. As far as the gameplay goes, there's not a whole lot to say. You just move right and kill everything in sight. What the hell? I can't go up? I can't go right either? Oh, you gotta go right before you can go up. That makes a whole lot of sense, just because the screen didn't move all the way. Now what's this? I can't walk past a hole? Even though I'm as high up as the game will allow. If you can only pass the hole from below, why is there such a big space up there? Not to mention, why couldn't the cheetah fall down the hole instead of exploding into 4 glowing orbs? Oh, and guess how the level ends? Like that. It just stops. What more do you expect? Welcome to the most awesome glitch of all. I'm jumping perpetually in midair. Yeah, I could do this all day. That's no problem. Oh, what the fuck? I went through the top of the screen and came out the bottom and died? You might say it's my fault for cheating, but come on, when I fall down, I don't drop through the ceiling and live. Besides, there's more enemies in the air than on the ground, so I don't recommend it. In level 3, you're a different Cheetahmen. This is where the game starts to get hard. First of all, to die, all it takes is a few hits. Then because this big tub of fuck is such a large target, you can't duck either, so there's not much you can do to avoid all these projectiles. The jumping glitch only gets you so far. Fuck. Fuck. Oh no! Wait a minute. A 1-up? And it skips me to the next level? Aw, kick fucking ass! Life is kinda cool sometimes. But here's the weird part. The next level's supposed to be 4, but it's called 3. So there's 2 level 3s? It begins with this bizarre flashing disco strobe with Tetris blocks. What's that all about? And what's this? A health bar? I have a health bar all of a sudden? Well, that's convenient. I don't know why it's not in the other levels. And now the jumping glitch doesn't work anymore? The rules of jumping change from level to level? The major reason why it's so difficult is because you outrun the screen, so you're always taking damage from enemies that you can't see until it's too late. I mean, look how far to the right I am. Aw, shit. You gotta jiggle back and forth just to get the screen oriented properly. Rhino Man here, or Rocksteady, whoever the fuck he is, he kills you in one hit. Doesn't matter how much health you have, he runs right in and you're dead. The only way to beat him is to very slowly inch your way up, and as soon as he appears, you run all the way to the left. If you're just a hair too late, you're dead. Then you have to make very subtle taps with the D-pad to get yourself facing right, and one tiny step forward, just enough so he can't touch you. It's like the only way to beat this game is to cheat. Guess that's why it's called Cheetahmen. Now we're up to level 4, which is actually 5. This time you get a cheetah that shoots arrows with a crossbow. You'd think that would make it easier. But no, the arrows never hit anything. They're too small and you can only shoot one at a time. It doesn't matter how careful you are, the enemies will always sneak in a hit before you can kill them. By the way, the health bar's gone again, but the formula's the same. 3 or 4 hits and you're dead. And I die on the first 3 or 4 enemies. Wow. The fuck nuggets who made this game thought they were going to make action figures and it was going to be the next best thing to Ninja Turtles? Well, that's the end of Action 52. But they made a Cheetahmen sequel. Oh yeah. You know how with a bad game, sometimes you wonder how could it have even made it in the stores? Well, this is a case in which the horror was so unspeakable, the game was never released. The cartridges were taken to a warehouse where they remained for years to come. It was never meant to be played. Then, in the late 90s, a massive break-in took place. The cartridges were discovered and became valuable collector's items. That's a true story, except that the real story was probably a little less dramatic than that. Only 1,500 of these games are known to exist, and they command outrageous prices on eBay. I don't know if I should consider myself lucky or not, but here it is, the unholy grail of gaming. Would you believe that this game is so bad it doesn't even get its own cartridge? They recycled the same plastic casing from Action 52 and put a Cheetahmen 2 sticker on the back. Let's pop this golden turd in and give it a go. The plot involves a Dr. Morbus who creates an ape man to fight the Cheetahmen. At least it explains who the villains are this time, and no mention of the stupid Game Master. The gameplay and graphics are similar to the first Cheetahmen, and it reuses the same music. Geez, at least try to do something different. If they made Cheetahmen versus Chester Cheetah, that shit would be the motherfucking ass. The only thing original about this game is that you shoot tornadoes with a crossbow. Yeah, next time there's a tornado ripping through town, just shoot an arrow at it. At least there's a health meter this time, but how many hit points do I have? A half and 2.5? The glitches are out of control. Blocks randomly change color, there's a stone nugget that keeps appearing out of nowhere, and what is that? The game's taking an 8-bit shit. You'd think they would have ironed out all the flaws and improved all the mistakes made the first time around. But no, somehow they actually made it worse, like pouring salt on an open wound. You die by jumping. Yeah, if you walk and fall, you're fine, but jumping from a great height, you're fucked. Oh, come on, I can't land on that thing? Then why is it there? The biggest issue is not being able to duck. You couldn't duck in the first game either, but here, 90% of your enemies are on the ground. That's a major problem. I still can't accept this fact, so I'm always hoping in vain that if I press down hard enough, it'll duck. Sometimes enemies come in pairs. You can't even jump over that shit. They can't hit me here, right? What? Let's see that again. You can't even stand above the enemies. The only enemies that aren't on the ground are up in the air. Can't jump over, can't duck, and can't even shoot with a straight shot. You have to pull off a tricky jumping shot, but the enemies appear so quickly you don't have time. The second level boss, on the other hand, is too easy. All he does is run to the right, never jumps, never throws anything, never changes pattern, just runs in the same direction until he's dead. Level 3, it's the big cheat again. Since all the enemies are stationed on the ground, the jumping glitch actually works favorably this time. But I don't feel bad about it. You know what, game? All the shit you put me through the first 2 levels, now it's my turn. Yeah, you wanna play dumbass? Well, double dumbass on you, motherfucker. You swine, you son of a motherless goat. Level 3? Both games have 2 level 3s? How'd they repeat the same mistake twice? Maybe it was intentional. Now it's time for the ape man. Oh, get your head out of my crotch, you monkey fuck. You won't get me this time, you son of a bitch. Whoa, speaking of monkey fuck. Get back here, you shit biscuit. Where'd he go? He's not coming back, is he? Oh, man. Alright, so can I jump up and kill myself? No? Not this time when I need it? This is limbo. This is purgatory. The only thing I can do now is reset the fucking game. You're not gonna get away this time. Yeah, bitch. Well, I beat the game. At least I got as far as you could possibly go before it fucks out. Well, this is where I'd end things. But there's yet another Cheetahmen game. Yeah, Action 52 on the Genesis. They just couldn't leave it alone, could they? Well, you'd think it would be the same as the NES version, except for enhanced graphics, but believe it or not, it's totally different. So before we can move on to the last Cheetahmen game, let's take a quick look at what these assholes shat out this time. That music is so Genesis. It's nice we have outer space on the title screen. I mean, at least they're being upfront with it this time. Look at me, I'm shooting at strands of vomit in Space Town. But to tell you the truth, there's not that many space shooters. There's only about 6. That's kind of astonishing. They probably made up for it with the abundance of puzzle games. There's nothing wrong with something that challenges your mind, but this went way overboard. It's called Action 52. I want some action. Besides, if you're going to make a puzzle game, can you at least have some instructions? There's a game called Echo, which is basically Simon Says. Come on, that thing was in every toy store in the 80s. Did we really need a watered-down version on a Sega Genesis cartridge? There's definitely more of a variety here than on the NES. There's a pinball game, a boat game, a skiing game, and a handful of different action games. But they're all just shittier clones of mediocre NES titles. There's a flying game that's worse than Top Gun, and there's a racing game that's a shittier version of Rad Racer. There's also a tank game based off Storm Over the Desert. Remember in the NES version, you're invincible and anything you touch explodes? Well here, it's the total opposite. You can't even touch a soldier. What kind of tank is that? Then there's games that are too easy. In Alien Attack, if you just keep running right and shooting, nothing will stop you. In the ninja game, you can actually run through everybody. In Bombs Away, you're running through a village avoiding bombs, but they'll never hit you as long as you keep moving. You can also jump like you're on a trampoline. Look at him, he jumps higher than the houses. And there's nothing to jump over, no holes, no obstacles, nothing at all. There's also a boxing game where the same thing happens. Have you ever seen a boxing match where somebody jumped, let alone 10 to 20 feet in the air? Another theme I've noticed is roadkill. There's a game called Freeway, which is an exact clone of an Activision game called, Freeway. They didn't even change the title. Instead of a chicken running across the street, you're a dog. That's horrible! The poor dog doesn't just get run over, it gets smushed into pieces! The other roadkill game is Skater. You're some kid on roller skates jumping 50 feet in the air, of course. And most of the obstacles are dead cats. At least I'm pretty sure they're dead. Why else would a cat be laying in the road? Tell me, if you're programming a video game and you have a choice of all the things that could be on the road, like mufflers, puddles of oil, traffic cones, hubcaps, fallen trash cans, open manholes, of all the things you could put there, why does your imagination go straight to dead cats? The names of these games are as mystifying as before. The tank game is called Norman. Is Norman the name of the guy in the tank? Then there's Sunday Drive. Yeah, just chilling out, going for a nice, relaxing Sunday drive, speeding through traffic at 100 miles per hour on a 5-lane highway. There's no accelerator, all you get is a horn, which doesn't do a damn thing. Oh look, Segaville, next exit. Again, and again, and again. For a non-existent exit, it sure has a lot of signs. There's a lot more two-player games this time around, so if you're playing by yourself, that's just more games you can skip. Dino Tennis is pretty funny though. You're two dinosaurs whacking a caveman back and forth. And a purple dinosaur? Really? Don't we have Barney? Isn't that enough? They recycle the same grunt and scream sound effects countless times. Even the spaceship screams. They must have been really hard-pressed coming up with ideas to fill 52 games. This one, called Appleseed, is just a farmer catching apples. Hell shit, motherfuckers. Damn apples come out of trees so fast, motherfuckers. Then there's this shitty drawing game. Yeah, try drawing with a D-pad. Game number 51 is called First Game. Seems like a contradiction. Why isn't it the 51st game? Well, guess what? It's Pong. This blows my mind on so many levels. First of all, just the fact that they had to use Pong to fill one of the games. Second, that Pong even exists on Sega Genesis. And third, the first game? Like it's the first video game ever made? That's debatable. The Odyssey came out the same year, and that was being worked on since the 60s. And before that, there was Space War. And if you really want to go back, there's those old games made out of radar equipment like Tennis for Two. So that's all they got for the 51st game? As for the 52nd game, there is none. It's just a trial run of the hardest levels from the other games. So technically, it shouldn't even be called Action 52. There's only 50 games. But at least they're all functional. Only once I've had a game crash, and it worked after I reset the Genesis. So just being able to play all the games is more than can be said for the NES version. As for the games with identical titles, they're all different and improved from their NES counterparts. In Ooze, you can actually jump better. In Dead Ant, your ant can actually move up and down. And in Sharks, there's blood. So, let's move on to Cheetahmen, so I can clean my hands of this Action 52 shit. For some reason, this time it's game number 13. I guess they realized that there's no sense saving it till the end because it's just as shitty as all the other games. There's no story this time, no explanation, no intro, just a title screen, and then it drops you straight into the game. Is this the badass 16-bit version of Cheetahmen we'd hoped for? The background looks like the wallpaper in a baby's room. And the music, well, just listen. Sounds like something you'd hear if somebody slipped on a banana peel. Even the NES music was better. One-hit deaths? Isn't that great? How do I keep dying on the same part? I know you're coming. I know you're coming. Ah, fuck! It's because you outrun the screen. Why's it gotta be like that? And what's up with the punching? When you tap the button just once, it throws 2 or 3 punches. You can only punch while standing still, and if your timing isn't perfect, it leaves you vulnerable. Well, I've made it to the end of the screen, I think, so my only guess is that you're supposed to collect all these cheetah icons. I mean, who knows? It's not like the game gives you instructions. Oh, and after you die, just once, all the icons are back, so you might as well just reset. Ugh, getting on these vines is such a bitch. Ugh, and look at that, am I on the vine, or what? not gonna let that thing kill me this time. Oh, there's a bat. Oh, you mother of an ass! Look at this situation. Yes. No! I can't even beat the first level, and I'm trying as hard as I can. Oh my god, no, no, no! I don't believe it. I just can't believe it that this is even less playable than the NES version. You'd think by now they'd come back down to earth and unfuck themselves. But you know what the really good news is? I'm done with Action 52. Back in the day, it was all about Nintendo power. You get that shit in the mail, and it was like, hot damn. It was this issue right here. It was the first spring of the 90s, and this is when I first heard of the game. But I'm not talking about that one on the cover. We're going deeper into those pages, further into the ass crack of gaming history. And there it was, a Boy and His Blob, having already been released in '89. I didn't know if this game had anything to do with the 50s monster movie, The Blob, but one thing was clear, it had a lot to do with jelly beans. I never forgot this page, seeing all those different colors. I didn't process what it all meant, but it definitely made me want jelly beans. Then I saw that illustration of that kid dropping jelly beans into the mouth of a white Slimer-looking blob dude with his mouth gaping like yum, 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 yum. What the hell was this game about? The designer and programmer was David Crane, who worked at Atari and became one of the co-founders of Activision. He made graphics for Kaboom, but he was best known for Pitfall and Pitfall 2: The Lost Caverns, which was loosely remade on the NES as Super Pitfall. I already talked about that one, Super Shitfall. And I very briefly touched upon Boy and His Blob in my wishlist episode, Part 2. But this game is such a bizarre curiosity piece. It's unique, puzzling, and equally fascinating, so I think it might be worth playing through the whole game. Or not. Oh no. Not Indiana Jones. Why did it have to be Indiana Jones? The title font, the music, it's a full-fledged indie spoof. So the game starts up, and if you were a kid when this came out, you didn't have half a clue what you were supposed to be doing. I rented it from the video store, and while I might have been too impatient to always read the manuals, keep in mind, it was the video store! They never came with the manuals because someone always rented it and never returned the manual. Yeah, I mean, it begs the question, who are all these people going around snatching NES manuals? Do they still have them? Bring them back! Yeah, you can cleanse yourself of your sins. Walk into the site of the old video store, whether it's a laundromat, a bar, or nail salon. Just walk in there, put that manual on the floor, and walk out. A new person. So you just had to mess around. You select jelly beans from your inventory, you throw them to White Slimer, and what happens? He transforms. The honey flavor turns him into a hummingbird, apple turns him into a jack, Applejack, vanilla is umbrella, cinnamon is blowtorch, like the blowtorch in Home Alone, the movie, like cinema, not cinnamon, cinema, man. Okay, admittedly, this is a lot of fun. You'll probably kill 30 minutes just trying out all the jelly beans in different places to see what happens and how this little guy interacts with the environment. So the Blob character, official name Blobbert, is from outer space and must have been partially inspired by the Blob, or better yet, the Stuff. Yeah, remember the Stuff? But actually, I heard that David Crane said in interviews that the inspiration was a Hanna-Barbera cartoon called The Herculoids, specifically the characters Gloop and Gleep. But it also draws a very strong connection to a certain 80s movie where a young kid becomes friends with an alien visitor who also eats candy. You know what movie I'm talking about. Mac and Me. Blobbert may not seem totally original, but the idea of an AI-controlled character following you around was trailblazing. At the time, this was state-of-the-art, futuristic, mind-blowing shit. It's like I'm playing the game with a friend, but there is no friend here. There's nobody else here besides me. The second controller isn't even plugged in. What's going on, man? Whether or not Blobbert is a very good AI-controlled character is a whole other question. If you think about it, The entire game is an escort mission. Instead of being free to move around as you please, you have to keep stopping and waiting for him to catch up. Come on, man, move your slow ass! Well, there is one way to make him catch up. You drop the ketchup-flavored jelly bean. Ketchup. Ketchup. So, what's the goal here? Well, Blobbert comes from the planet Blobolonia, which is ruled by an evil emperor who forces everyone to eat only junk food. Blobbert needs the boys' help to defeat the emperor. The only way to defeat him is with healthy food, more specifically vitamins. Where do you get the vitamins? The vitamin store. But you need money. How do you get the money? By exploring underground caverns, looking for treasure chests and diamonds. Wow. How did all this stuff get here? Did a bunch of pirates hide it all? In this area which became a populated city? Whoever built the subway tunnels and sewers never noticed there's a shit ton of treasures? The diamonds alone are as big as the kid. If you found just one of those, then you found the largest cut diamond in the world. And not just one, a whole bunch of them! All to buy a jar of vitamins. Imagine walking into a CVS. You grab the vitamins from the counter, you bring it to the cashier. That'll be $10.99, okay? And then, BAM! You just slam that fucking treasure chest on the counter. There's one gold coin just spinning around as the cashier awkwardly stares. So, as you're running around searching for these treasures, you'll notice there's a surprising lack of enemies. I mean, this is an NES game after all. Shouldn't there be a million things trying to kill you? It's screen after screen of nothing. The truth is, this game could have used more time to finish developing. The story goes that David Crane had only 6 weeks to finish it. Well, I think this game took way too much inspiration from E.T. The only thing that can really be considered an enemy is some kind of worm, but it doesn't even come after you. If you go near it, it's your fault. Couldn't keep your hands off that treasure, huh? Then there's a spider web without any spider enemy whatsoever. The spider left that web for you just so you can run into it, die, and feel like a dumbass. You gotta use the blowtorch. All the other hazards are environmental. If you fall from too high, well, oops, fuck that one up. You gotta use the umbrella. Water, well, that one's a given. It wouldn't be an NES game if water didn't kill you. You gotta use the cola bean to make a bubble, which is harder to control than the submarine in Earthworm Jim. But watch out for the stalagmites and stalactites. Those are fatal to the touch as well. So the game makes you feel bad because it's you who did it. Nothing's really out to kill you. You're out to kill yourself. Idiot. So here, I'm gonna use the punch-flavored jelly bean to turn Blobbert into a hole. Get it? Punch, hole. Motherfucker! Well, you can't use the umbrella if you're already using the hole, so your only other option is to have some kind of special sixth sense to mentally detect what exists beyond the boundary of the screen. In other words, it's a fucking guessing game! No! I can tell you what kind of hole this game belongs in! Another bean is tangerine to make a trampoline. Well, this thing's based on momentum. The more you bounce, the higher you go. Oh man, hit the ceiling. I gotta get back down. How the hell do I get back down? Ah, you fuck! Get up there! You see what I'm trying to do, right? Oh. Ah! Get up there. Any way possible. Just a hair to the right. Don't! Oh, come on! Alright, just want to bounce over the left. Go left. Go left! Son of a fucking bitch! This is some of the most elegantly designed torture I've ever seen. Gonna use licorice to make a ladder. Oh, come on, I can't go up there? Gonna try it off to the side. Oh, you gotta be kidding me. It has to be at the perfect spot. Let's try here. What? Oh, that was some cheap bullshit. This is a prime example of a trial and error game. It only sets you up for failure, and the only course of action is to fail over and over again until you get lucky. It's also a major where the fuck do you go kind of game. You keep running around like an asshole. And of course there was no fucking internet, so we'd have to consult Nintendo Power. Oh, that's cool. They lay out the whole map with numbers. So you just follow the numbers, right? Number 9, Stoppy Dead Endy? This route leads to nowhere you want to be. Instead, head to the left and numbers 10 and 11? Oh, that fucking takes the piss out of me. Who printed that? I want to know who. But nothing compares to this treasure at the very bottom. It's heavily guarded by stalagmites. You have to be joking. Just try to go near it. Just fucking try. And that's it. You're done. I've approached it from every conceivable angle, and I've determined that you cannot get this treasure unless you die. I guess that counts, right? You're dead, but you got the treasure. That's some pirate shit right there. But here's the thing. You don't need to get all the treasures. You just need enough. So fuck the underground, go back to the streets, go to the vitamin store, and cash those treasures in. Now you got vitamins, and you're ready to head to the planet Blobalonia to take out the Emperor. Use the root beer bean to make a rocket. Then launch yourself off. Okay, now let me ask a question. This boy dies when he touches water? But he can breathe in fucking space? Now we're on Blobalonia, and remember when I said there wasn't enough enemies or things trying to kill you? Well, fuck myself. God damn, is there enough shit in the way now? Maybe. Just maybe. First, it's the dancing marshmallows. They just go up and down, but then they start doing these funky patterns. Kind of like the jellyfish in Jaws. They keep getting crazier and crazier. Next, you come to these cherry bombs. Don't even worry about the pattern, because they'll just blow up and kill you anyway. Even if you try to outrun them, just hold right without stopping, they will still kill you. Might as well put down the controller and rethink your life. Even if you're not on the same screen, they can still kill you. There is a trick. Use the coconut bean to make a coconut bowling ball. Throw it off screen and wait for it. Wait for it. Fuck! You can throw that coconut, wait all day, but as soon as you decide to go after it, death is waiting. It's a very specific kind of throw in a certain place with a running start. You know you got it when the screen changes to follow it. Wow, that's one hell of a throw. By doing this, you clear all the enemies. But how would you know to do that? The answer is get the power. Nintendo Power. Next, it's a cornfield. Yeah, great, now you're being attacked by popcorn. All we need now is corn in the band. Then you're inside some candy factory. It's like Willy Wonka's factory, but even more evil.
2 naughty, nasty little children gone. 3 good, sweet little children left.
There's marshmallows falling off conveyor belts, teeth, and poop piles. Luckily, you got those vitamins. Use the orange bean to unleash the Vita Blaster. Good thing we have that. Now it's like every other NES game where you just run to the right and blast everything. Yeah, shoot that shit. Literally. The coconut trick still holds up, but you gotta find the right spot. Alright, here we go. Well, rather anticlimactic, wouldn't you say? Then you go past some creepy gingerbread men who do absolutely nothing. You use the lime bean to make the key. Key lime. Open the door. What the fuck is this? How did Blobbert suddenly end up in a cage? And is this the Emperor? Why does he look like a pale Jabba the Hutt? But whatever. It's the final boss battle. This is it. Here we go! What happened? And the evil king is defeated with his own hidden supply of vitamins, and all of Blobalonia salutes their savior? Did I win? Already? All I did was throw Blobbert an apple jelly bean. He turned into a jack and knocked over the jar of vitamins. Remember, vitamins are fatal to the Emperor. So if you were a villain and had a weakness, a bane that could kill you, what would you do? Well,
Keep a bunch of it next to you at all times.
Okay, who's this supposed to be? The Pillsbury fuckface? Or would you prefer Stay Puft or the Michelin Man? The game tells you nothing about him, but I'd assume he's the rightful king of Blobolonia. He was captured by the Emperor, and you've rescued him.
And now that he's free, he's gonna send his blob army to conquer Earth. Yeah, wouldn't that have been a great ending if it said, "Congratulations, you've killed us all, asshole"?
This doesn't feel like a complete game. It can be beaten in an incredibly short time, providing that you know what to do and where to go. Just to point out how short this game really is, every screen of the entire game is shown in only 4 pages of Nintendo Power. If they had more time, it would have been great to see more levels. The concept is very original with a lot of potential. The creative puzzle-solving elements differentiate it from other platformers on the NES. David Crane advanced the possibilities of gaming in the same way he had done with Pitfall. It may be heavily flawed, but the ingenuity shines through. It did, in fact, win Best of Show at the Consumer Electronics Show in '89, and it received the Parents' Choice Award from the Parents' Choice Foundation in 1990, citing its positive human values. For example, always have a healthy diet with lots of variety, like licorice, vanilla, root beer, and cola jelly beans. There's things more important than money, and that's treasure chests and giant diamonds. The road less traveled is the road where there's nothing and you'll have to turn back. Life is tough. Life is unfair, so just cheat and roll that fucking coconut bowling ball. This game is something that could have only existed in the 80s. After all, it's a game about jelly beans, which was the favorite candy of President Ronald Reagan. As a kid, I didn't know the difference between Ronald Reagan and Ronald McDonald, but the point is, that's some 80s shit right there. And what a way to close out the decade. To some, it may just be another obscure NES game, but to others, it's remembered with great fondness. Its legacy continues, and whether they're conscious influences or not, I'm reminded of Blobbert when I see Adult Swim cartoons like the character Squishface in C-Lab 2021, or Meatwad in Aqua Teen Hunger Force with his transforming capabilities. There is a new version of Boy His Blob on the Wii, so it's very clear that it hasn't been forgotten. Hopefully it'll get another sequel, or maybe an expanded version, maybe even an animated series in the future. These would all be great ways to fulfill its potential. There's truly no other game like it.
But maybe I'm being too positive here. I haven't broken or shit on anything yet, so I'm gonna end by saying, fuck this game. Well, here we are over a decade later, and I'm actually going to torture myself with this ass pile of a game.
I first mentioned Corpse Killer in the Sega CD episode way back in 2007, so I shelved it and haven't thought about it since then, which is like pissing up a drainage pipe. It comes right back.
It's also like on Thanksgiving when your family's sitting around the couch watching football after dinner, just blowing hot turkey farts into the cushions. Then a week later, you plop down on the couch and that week-old turkey fart cloud envelops you. Well, that's Corpse Killer. And now, after all that time, I'm still not reviewing the Sega CD version. I'm reviewing the 3DO version instead. Why is that? Because they're all the same. You couldn't even take 2 shits as identical as this shit.
It was on PC, Macintosh, and if you really want to get down to business, there's the Sega CD 32X version, meaning you have to own both shitty consoles just to play the same thing. First of all, how does that work? One system uses cartridges and the other uses CDs. It's not like the game is a compact cartridge disc hybrid. I know that would be pretty amazing, but it's just a CD.
And second, what kind of marketing tactic was that? The 32X alone was a failure, so making special games that require both 32X and Sega CD was just forcing a failure on top of a failure. And since they only made 6 games like this, I'm guessing didn't do too well.
There's also an enhanced version on the Saturn, Corpse Killer Graveyard Edition. It's still pretty much the same, but it goes full screen and even has zombies that get all up in your face. What really wrenches my taint, though, is the fact that someone ported this abomination to modern consoles. There's a copy for the PS4 and the Switch in full HD. Corpse Killer in high definition? More like high defecation.
The fact there's still enough demand for a game this shitty, even today, blows my mind. With all the actual good shit out there that deserves a remake or HD edition, we get Corpse Killer on the PS4. What the hell, man?
So, what is Corpse Killer? Or more specifically, what is a corpse killer? How could anyone kill corpses?
It would be like toasting toast in a toaster. Once it's toast, that's what it is. It used to be bread, so you never put toast in a toaster. Actually, that's not true. If you're not satisfied with how toasted your toast is, you could put it back in the toaster. Come to think of it, I do that all the time. Because it's not like you can see the toast when it's in the toaster. You can't tell if that toast is as pale as a ghost or overdosed to utmost roast. What game are we talking about now?
Oh yeah, Corpse Killer. I will not say toast for the rest of this goddamn review. Alright game, you're getting reviewed now. It's a baffling mess of shit graphics, piss-poor control, and vomit-inducing sound, all set to a backdrop of a low-budget B-movie. The B-movie part is fine, but when you mix a B-movie with a shitty game, it's like making cake batter out of monkey barf and horse piss. All the live-action scenes were directed by John Lafia, the writer of Child's Play and director of Child's Play 2. No kidding. Sandwiched in between the cutscenes are levels where you play as a nameless Marine and walk slowly to the right on some jittery-ass backgrounds. Scale and perspective have absolutely zero meaning on this island. There's a bunch of airplanes in this level that look smaller than the zombies. And here there's giant fucking skeletons all over the place. Seriously, look how giant these motherfucking skeletons are. Kinda reminds me of Terminator 2, the arcade game, if they made the whole game over a weekend. Calling Corpse Killer a game is far more than it deserves. You'd have more fun navigating a DVD menu with your dick tip. So anyway, the object of the game is to save all your fellow Marines from the evil Dr. Hellman. I'm guessing he decided to give up on his mayonnaise empire and move on to raising an army of voodoo zombies for world domination or some shit. Hellman is played by Vincent Schiavelli. You might remember him as the hobo ghost from Ghost, who teaches Patrick Swayze how to use his ghost powers. So, you parachute in and get attacked. Here you meet your two companions, Winston, your driver and guide, and Julie, a no-nonsense reporter looking for the scoop on the zombie-infested island. They're only in the game to move the story along and shuttle your ass to areas filled with zombies that can only be beaten by walking to the right. You walk to the right in a village, a swamp, the beach, old temples, and airports. There's a ton of places you walk to the right, and that's all you fucking do from now until you beat the game or say fuck it and shut it the hell off. On your way, you can collect special bullets. They're required to kill the boss enemies and these weird jack-o'-lantern looking guys. But they barely give you any throughout the game. The first time you get to a place where you actually need to use them, I only had 25, which wasn't enough to do shit.
You need to get the special bullets. Without them, you can't beat the boss. But the game doesn't have the courtesy to give them to you, so I just keep getting to the same point and dying over and over.
At one point, I start hitting random buttons thinking it might do something, and it did alright. It kicked me out of the fucking level. Hitting the C button stops the game dead in its tracks and kicks you out to this weird menu screen. If they put the option to abort the level in the pause menu, I'd be fine with it. But making it a regular button that you're more likely to hit by accident is just shit. And I know for a fact it also does this in the Sega CD32X version. And if you want to confirm, I'm guessing it probably does that in the regular Sega CD version as well. So somebody must have thought it was a good idea. Oh yeah, it was a real good idea. So anyway, I get to this menu, and all it does is show you pictures of enemies and other crap. It doesn't give you any useful info or anything, so why even have it? Eventually, I found out how to get back into the game by selecting the map. This is where the game switches things up a bit. You can go back to the main game, but it starts you at the beginning no matter how far you got.
This really scraped my scrotum. I hit one fucking button by accident and I'm booted back to square one.
If you want, you could actually do some side quests also. Depending on what you choose, you can do missions that get you health power-ups, special ammo, or you can choose to do quests for Winston or Julie. If you help Winston, he just finds a bunch of treasure and talks more shit. That's it. It has absolutely no bearing on the game whatsoever. If you help Julie, you get some backstory into the events in the game. All in all, these quests are just a waste of fucking time. The last thing I want to do when I'm playing a horrible mess of a game is extend the duration of suckery and do unnecessary garbage. So the first level you have to beat is Zombie Town.
It's just a giant wall with zombies throwing a bunch of crap at you. It's pretty easy, but you have to play the same exact level like 5 fucking times throughout the game. After you beat it, you can either choose the village or the swamp. It's the same thing either way. You fight the same 4 enemies until you walk far enough to the right and the game progresses. Other than the regular zombies, there's these weird shadow guys walking around. They're just lazy palette swaps of the same zombies, just without any color or detail. So if you shoot them while they're dark, you get hurt. You have to wait till they light up, then they kill every zombie on screen. Oh, and about those jack-o'-lantern zombies, they're completely immune to normal bullets. Only the special bullets kill them, but you need to save the special bullets to kill the boss. So you have a decision to make. Either take a hit and lose life, or use that special, precious ammo. All the zombies look like absolute ass. They slide all over the backgrounds and look like they're hanging by wires, because I'm pretty sure they actually were. Some are wearing whatever clothes they showed up in, and others have shitty Halloween masks on. They look like they just went into the Halloween section of a dollar store and bought up anything they could on November 1st. You eventually make your way inside the fortress, which is filled with a bunch of middle-aged dads in pink shirts. I guess they're zombies, but they look like a bunch of golfers wandering around an ancient temple. Eventually, one of the zombified Marines attacks you, and you have to turn them back by using the special ammo. That is, if you have any by this fucking point, because I didn't. I got to this part 5 times and never had enough ammo to finish it. So I had to abort the level and start all over again. I wasted more time on this than I want to admit. I mean, who wants to go around telling people that they played Corpse Killer for 8 hours over their weekend? You sound like a psycho, especially if you said it to a random person on the street. So I'm not proud of this, but after getting absolutely nowhere for hours, I had to use cheats. I know, it's fucked up. The 3DO doesn't have a Game Genie, but it does have the Game Guru. There ain't no magic on this console. There wasn't even an infinite ammo code, just one that gives you a lot of bullets. Even cheating on the 3DO sucks balls. Eventually I got up to the boss and changed them back. I gotta say, I really hate this game, but it's kind of hilarious. After you change your buddy back, you hang out with them and drink some shit out of a skull that replenishes your health, and then head back to defend the graveyard. So the graveyard serves as your home base in all this. I mean, that's pretty smart. The heroes decide that the best possible place they could make a home base during a zombie apocalypse is a fucking graveyard! So from here, you run through the village, head to the fortress, fight more jack-o'-lanterns and sad golfing dads, then save another Marine, rinse and repeat. That's it. Oh, and every time I go through a cycle of levels, I have to reset, delete my previous save, then go back to the Game Guru to put the code back in. If Merriam-Webster called asking for the dictionary definition of tedious, I'd say this right here. All that shit just so I can see these Oscar-worthy cutscenes. Apparently, transforming back from a zombie makes you feel like you just jizzed lava into your boxer briefs. After repeating this 4 fucking times, you finally face off against Mr. Mayonnaise himself, Dr. Hellman. And it's one of the most incredible sights I've ever seen in FMV history. And I say that without an ounce of sarcasm.
Because we are the new order!
Oh, good Lord! The final boss of this game is a JPEG of Vincent Schiavelli's face, spitting an endless stream of zombies at you. You know, I'd find this whole fight hilarious if it weren't the most frustrating thing possible. Basically, I don't even know if I'm winning or not. Zombies just shoot out infinitely as the picture shifts around and gets more and more ugly.
The problem with this fight is you have to beat 2 levels before it, and if you get hit on either of those levels, chances are you're completely fucked for the boss fight. Seriously, this fight goes on forever. Hundreds of zombies fly at you, literally hundreds. I spent about an hour on this fight alone because I died about a shitload of fuck times. It was demoralizing.
It's okay. Death is really, really cruel.
Imagine trying to build something out of Legos, but every 5 minutes someone comes into the room, smashes what you've built, and shits on them, and then you have to start over using the poopy Legos. That's what this boss is in a nutshell.
If you actually manage to beat this shit, you get treated to a hilarious death scene. Then you get a bunch of stock clips of fighter jets shooting cartoon lasers at the base till it explodes. Oh, also you get to see Julie in a swimsuit for some reason. How, when, and why the hell she changed into a swimsuit makes no sense. My guess is they needed something to ease the pain of having to spend your weekend slogging through this useless excuse for a video game. All in all, Corpse Killer is just a waste of disc. The entire budget no doubtly went to the production of the B-movie scenes, and barely any effort went into the actual game part of the fucking video game. This is why FMV games were a dead fad more than anything else. People focused so much on the hardware capabilities back then, and the bits and the graphics.
Great graphics.
If you're amused by watching shitty movies and pressing buttons, this is right up your alley. More like right up your ass.
Now, hopefully, I didn't mention any other awful games in past episodes that you're going to want me to torture myself with. Oh, no cliffhanger this time? Okay. Alright, well, I'll see you next time, but for now, it's time to kill this corpse.
In the beginning, a game company called Wisdom Tree began producing unlicensed games for the NES. Wisdom Tree said, "Let there be shit." And there was shit. Yeah, you know what I'm talking about. Bible games, like Bible Buffet, where you're blown off a snowman's head, which has nothing to do with the Bible. Super Noah's Ark 3D, where you're slingshotting pissed off animals. Sunday Fun Day, where you're killing random people on your way to church. And all those ridiculous CDI games.
Yippee! Yippee! Whoops! Yippee!
I've already talked about these games in my previous Bible Games episodes, so what's the point of going on anymore? Because part 3 is never as good. But, you know, there's a few more Bible games left, so I might as well finish what I started.
I mentioned before that there's a Game Boy game called the King James Bible. Since then, I've actually gotten the game in my possession, so I might as well try it out. I gotta admit, I thought this game would be nothing more than just reading the Bible on a Game Boy, but there actually are a couple games involved. The first one is a stupid memory game. All you do is match the words. The other one is just like playing Hangman with sheep. You have to guess the hidden word by choosing all the correct letters. If you choose a wrong letter, one of the sheep will hop the fence. If they all get over the fence, you lose. Like right now, I'm really stumped. Damn, you fucking sheep. Alright, what's the word? Goodliest? Who the fuck uses a word like that? Blessedness? Of course, they're all ancient words that nobody says anymore in common speech. Well, that's all there is to that. I marvel at this game's shitliness. Of course, you can read the Bible, basically if you want to use your Game Boy as an old-fashioned ebook reader. I wonder how many batteries you'd need to go through the whole thing. The other thing you can do is search for words in the Bible. For example, we could search, I don't know, how about the word ass? Okay, I had no idea there'd be this many results. Then they rent their clothes and laid at every man his ass. Lose his ox or his ass. Whose ass have I taken? Deliver unto his neighbor an ass. Which of you shall have an ass? He had found a young ass, the dumb ass. It says dumbass in the Bible. Saddled his ass. Opened his sack to give his ass. The lion had not eaten the carcass or torn the ass. Riding upon his ass. I'm going to hell. Next game, we have something kind of special. It's an unlicensed NES game called 6-in-1. That's pretty much the title. How creative. Unofficially, it's known as Cauldron 6-in-1 because the company who made it, Cauldron, went out of business before they sold off all their games. Hot selling. Yeah, right. Well, another company called Myriad bought their inventory, slapped their own sticker on the front, and started selling them again. For this reason, the Myriad version is even more rare. Its price in auctions is usually much higher than the Cauldron version, even though technically they are both the same exact game. Myriad didn't make any programming changes whatsoever. Even the title screen still says Cauldron on it. That sticker on the front, let me tell you, that is one expensive sticker. With that bit of trivia, you're probably wondering, what does this have to do with the Bible? Well, there's 6 games on it, all of them suck major shit, and they definitely went for quantity over quality, much like Action 52, although it's not that bad. Honestly, the games aren't horrible, they're just mediocre copycats of other games. Cosmos Cop is a ripoff of Space Harrier, Balloon Monster is a ripoff of Buster Brothers, Porter is a ripoff of Sokoban, Bookemon is a ripoff of Make Tracks, also known as Crush Roller. Magic Carpet 1001 is sadly the most original of all of them, but there is one Bible game on it, Adam and Eve. It's a 2-player co-op game where you fly around on balloons and try to land on top of cute little worms. Out of all the games on this cartridge, this is probably the most original. They sure put a new twist on the story. Instead of Adam and Eve being a man and a woman, they're now asexual twins. Take your guess which is which, the one with green hair or the one with red skin. Are they aliens or something? Is that why there's space in the background? The Tree of Life apparently is now just a few bamboo sticks crossed together. The serpent is now a whole army of balloon flying worms. And there's a bird that lays eggs on you. What kind of bird lays eggs while it's flying? That's like a human mother running a marathon and just dropping out a baby. The only other thought is that it's an egg-shaped piece of shit, but it's from a bird, so it would usually be white, which would be the color of an egg, but instead, it's brown like shit. I don't know what I'm talking about. I myself wouldn't know how to make a game based on Adam and Eve, but I'd never think to make the forbidden fruit actually count as points. What were they thinking when they came up with this? I guess they were just trying to be really original. Well, nope. Actually, it's a complete ripoff of Balloon Fight. And if you really want to go back further, Balloon Fight was very similar in gameplay style to Joust, just with balloons instead of, well, ostriches. So basically, the game has nothing to do with the Bible. So why am I even bothering to include it as part of Bible games? Well, here's a better question. Why the fuck did they call it Adam and Eve? Well, that's the last of the Bible games on the Nintendo consoles. It sure was a sacrilegious shit stain on the NES library, but it wasn't enough for Wisdom Tree, no. They had to put out their games on the Sega Genesis console as well. Tell you the truth, these are all games I've reviewed already on NES. Sometimes the Genesis versions are different, like they were with Action 52, but this is not the case here. All these games are nearly identical to their 8-bit counterparts. Spiritual Warfare is pretty much the same. You know, that Legend of Zelda clone where drug dealers are shooting lasers at you from alleyways. Since the whole game functions just like Zelda, with item inventory and everything like that, wouldn't it have been nice to use the same save feature? Instead, there's this annoying password system. If you're gonna copy anything from Zelda, have a save feature. And that was on NES, so you'd think with a more advanced console, they'd be able to do that again. Then there's Exodus and Joshua, which were both the same 2 games anyway, which were both adapted from a game called Crystal Mines. Not much to reiterate here, just going around blasting giant cheese puffs. Then there's Bible Adventures, which again is the same as the NES version, just with slightly different graphics. Gotta love that classic Baby Moses game. The best part's drowning your own baby and then killing yourself. Isn't that nice? Then, of course, there's David and Goliath, which might as well be called David and the fucking sheep, because that's all you do is carry sheep from one place to the next. Man, who the hell is able to pick up 3 sheep and climb a tree? And this may seem like a minor complaint, but when you pause the game, the music keeps going. I hate games that do that. What if you get a phone call or something? You want it to go quiet. This game is extremely frustrating in its bad control. There's a part where you have to climb up a mountain, but no matter how hard you try, you keep slipping off the platforms. Ugh! Ugh! Oh, fuck! Alright, here we go. Ugh! Fuck! Bitch. You'd think these are doors, right? Well, guess what? You can't go in. They're just for decoration. So maybe they're miniature monoliths from 2001. When you do manage to get to the top, there's nowhere left to go. You have to take a shitty guess and jump at thin air. See, there's another platform you're supposed to reach, but you never know otherwise. It's literally a leap of faith. The other game on the cartridge is Noah's Ark. This is the one where you painstakingly have to pick up every animal on the screen and carry them to the Ark. I've mentioned before how Noah is some super strong freak of nature, but he does have his limits. He can jump while carrying almost any animal, but an ox, nope, that's too much. Every animal has their own specific rules, and it makes no fucking sense. The most annoying is the snakes. Man, Noah has some balls to be rescuing snakes. Indiana Jones wouldn't do that. No, he thinks Noah's a snake-saving shit-sucker. Pee Wee Herman once saved snakes, but he fainted. That's right, in order of manliness, Indiana Jones, then Pee Wee, and then fucking Noah. Keep in mind, Noah also has to be able to identify the male and female animals. So how does he have such a keen instinct for this? I mean, I'm no bird expert, but does the toucan exhibit any clear signs of its gender? If it's a female, does Noah look at it and think to himself, look at the cans on that toucan? The graphics are dull. There's so much brown. The Ark is brown, the trees are brown. Why's everything gotta be the color of shit? It might as well be shit. Yeah, those trees in the background are like logs of shit coming out of God's ass. It's holy shit. Things get all fucked up by level 3. You gotta start collecting 7 of each animal. 7? What, are you kidding me? The monkeys. I hate them. They're so fucking hard to catch. I'm gonna get you, you stupid monkey. Yeah, whatever it takes, fuckface. You're slime. You're filth. I'm gonna rip you apart. Oh, and you're actually not supposed to save the monkeys. You're supposed to get the fruit that they're throwing. Really? How was I supposed to guess that? So the monkeys are supposed to drown in the flood after all. One of the worst things about this game is that Noah needs to visually inspect every animal you catch. It's not enough that the inventory is on the screen, clear as day, but no, you gotta watch every single animal run into the Ark, one after another. Imagine if in Super Mario Bros. After you beat the level, you have to watch every fucking coin bounce across the screen. I can't believe I actually decided to play through this whole game. I was curious about the ending, and it's not worth bragging about. It's just a suitcase floating in the sewers. Oh wait, that's supposed to be the Ark with the flood. It rests on the mountaintop, and that's it. Well, that's Bible Adventures. That takes care of all the Bible games on Genesis. I could end things now, but I really don't want there to ever be a Bible Games 4, so there's one little bit of unfinished business. An NES game called King of Kings. I already reviewed this as part of my first Bible Games episode. It has 3 games in it. Jesus in the Temple, which is that Mario 2 ripoff where you're hopping across logs. Then there's the Wise Men where you're traveling to baby Jesus. That means it's the only Christmas game. Isn't that the whole reason I did this in December? Why did I do all these other Bible games? I guess when it comes to bad games, I go above and beyond. But the one game I slacked on was Flight to Egypt. All I said was, it's bad. But let me tell you, it's not just bad, it's horrendous. Every pixel in this game is a sin. First of all, I don't get the title. Flight to Egypt? You're not flying, you're riding on a donkey, or an ass if you prefer. What airline is this? Ass Express? And yes, I know the word flight doesn't necessarily mean aviation, but hey, it's a fucking joke. Your only attack is this embarrassing, dinky little kick which can't harm anything unless it's right up in your ass. Or I should say your ass's ass, not your ass that's sitting upon the ass. I guess you're supposed to be on a mountain because you're always moving upward. You think you're moving right, horizontally, but really you're on an upward slant, spiraling around, so if you fall down, you're actually backtracking to where you just were. Isn't that weird? And what's with all the ice stages? You're supposed to be going to Egypt. Did you get sidetracked on the fucking North Pole? When you collect health, it only counts if you're able to answer a Bible question. I beheld blank as lightning fall from heaven. Anyone who's seen Street Fighter the movie should know that one. And here's a tip. Anytime it's a true or false question, if it has anything to do with killing, then it's always true. There's not much else to say about this shit heap. I might as well just leave it at, it's bad. But the truth is, it's even worse. At least we could check out the ending. They arrive safely in Egypt, and an angel visits Joseph.
And that's it? Did anything else happen? Did the angel say anything? Did the sight of the angel make Joseph sick in his stomach? Did the donkey stalk them in their sleep? What happened? I assumed that I pressed a button by mistake and actually canceled out the rest of the ending. But no, I've actually beaten the game multiple times just to try and solve this mystery, and the same thing happens. It just stays on this screen until you press something, and then it returns you to the main menu. But I'm aware that the last screen is supposed to be plain text that says, "Give your heart to Jesus." But I'm not seeing it, so I'm assuming I'm supposed to beat all 3 games to see the true ending. And I'm not going through all that trouble. Although I will give my heart to Jesus. Oh, Jesus! Okay, the wait is finally over. This is the review that everybody wants to see. Here it is. Superman on Commodore 64.
Yeah, that's what you mean, right? The Commodore 64? It was one of the best-selling home computers from the 80s. The games came on floppy disks. Remember those? The ones that actually are floppy? Let's pop this fucker in, turn this son of a bitch on, and play some Superman. Well, this is the startup screen. You never know what to do unless you have the instructions. You gotta type load, parenthesis, asterisk, parenthesis, comma 8, comma 1, and then return. And then it goes to black, and a few seconds later it says, now loading Superman. At least that lets you know you did it right, but then you gotta wait for the piece of shit to load. You remember those early CD-based game consoles like the PlayStation, and you'd always have to wait for everything to load? Well, it's nothing like that. This thing actually takes 2 minutes and 7 seconds. Yeah, I timed it. Then the title screen starts up with the music and you're like, wow. But wait, what the hell's this? Type in the character that appears in column 9, row 10? Oh, come on, I gotta get the code card. Yeah, the code card. Match up the damn numbers and there you go, it's 5. Why do I gotta do that? So you pick your difficulty and then guess what? It's gotta load again. 54 seconds this time. Not long, but seems like an eternity. So anyway, you get this comic book storyline thing, and then you son of a bitch. Probably 2 weeks later, when you finally start playing the game, you'll be surprised that the graphics are quite decent and the gameplay is self-explanatory. You just fly around and shoot stuff. You don't have to be Clark Kent and find subway passes or any bullshit like that. So it's actually better than the Nintendo version. But that's not saying much. That's like saying the shit that I took last night was better than the shit I took the day before. Controller's a piece of fuck, but at least it's one of those kind where you can plug in most of the Ataris or the Sega Genesis controller. Isn't that amazing? The first level has a 3D perspective. The second level, you're protecting a space shuttle from a bunch of asteroids. This one's more like a 2D shooter. The third level's like a side-scroller, so it has some variety. But this has got to be one of the most annoying stages in video game history. Every time you get hit, you fly back. Fuck. Fuck. Fuck! Fuck! It's enough of this shit.
But wait, this isn't what you want to see, is it? Nah, you want to see this, right? Oh, come on, you really want to make me play this? Well, I'm going to do it just for you, because I like you a lot. Now don't take that too serious. Here it goes. I'm turning on the power.
First, you're greeted by a smiling cartoon fox. Titus? What the fuck is that? Well, the official title of the game is just Superman, but probably because of the Nintendo 64's tradition of putting 64 at the end of so many titles, it's no wonder that it got that reputation. The first thing that bothers me is the stock music. Why not the Superman theme? You know, the John Williams one? Why don't any of these games have that? Immediately as the game begins, you have to start flying through rings. I don't even have any time to get used to the control. You think that as soon as the game starts, you'd have a little free range, you know, to fly around and explore. But no, you gotta fly through rings. And you can't fuck up. If you miss more than, I think, 3, I don't know, sometimes it's 2 and sometimes it's 4, so I'm not sure. But basically, if you miss a few of these rings, you go back to the beginning. And you keep trying it over and over till you get it right. And on top of that, there's a time limit. And being that this is the first part of the game, you'd think that the time limit would be a little lenient. But no, it gives you just barely enough time to get through all these rings. You gotta be perfect. Looks like I'm doing a real shitty job, but the control is awful. You have to be very specific with the joystick or else Superman takes a dive in the wrong direction. And then when you try to make a sharp turn, he just goes all over the place. You all probably know better than I, and it goes without saying, but this game is horrendous! And you know what the most pathetic thing about it is? This game isn't even 10 years old! Just barely. You'd think by 1999 there'd be some kind of quality standard. What? I'm stuck? How the hell am I stuck? I'm underneath the bridge. Looks like Superman's stroking his super dick. So, naturally, when a game gives you a time limit, you're in a hurry. You can't approach any of these rings with care and patience. You gotta keep moving. If you miss a ring, you have the option to turn around and try to get it again, so there's no strike against you unless you skip to the next ring, so basically you have to go through all the rings in order. But if you miss one, the time it takes you to turn your ass around and go back through, you already wasted too much time, so it's almost the same as just missing the ring. You have to keep flying. If you stop and bullshit around, then you're not going to make the time limit. See, I just fucked around too much, so I might as well just give up and kill myself. You see that building? I'm just going to crash into it. Well, that didn't do a damn thing. You mean you can't die? Well, absolutely not. You're just stuck in limbo until the time runs out. The only thing worse than an impossibly bad game is not even being able to kill yourself. What's with the punching? Do I actually get to punch people somewhere in this shitload fuck of a game? I guess I'll never find out, but why are these punches so awkward? You gotta be kidding me. I'm stuck again? I'm nowhere near the wall. Look how much room. Look how much room. How can I be stuck when there's so much room? 15 seconds and I'm almost there. Almost there. Oh, fuck, Mr. Ring. Oh, come on. Can't even give me one more chance? Oh, man, what is he doing? Exercises? This is so ridiculous. This game isn't just bad. It's really bad. I'm not even kidding around. It's fucking horse shit. Almost there. Less than 10 seconds. Come on. I can just barely make it. Look, there's the last ring. Fuck ass bitch can't fart. I can't believe it. There is only one ring left. Oh, this is ass. This is really ass. Oh, look, this time I'm gonna do it. It's 4 seconds. Shit. Yeah. No, that didn't count. So finally, when I get past the rings, instructions flash on screen, then go away. What did it say? Something about cars? You're not even given enough time to read it. Oh, it's over already? What was I supposed to do?
There's no time to waste.
What? I don't even get to try again? I'm back at the fucking rings again? I can't believe I'm playing a Superman game where all you do is fly through rings. At first, I thought this was the training mode. Yeah, you know, like to test your accuracy. Lots of games have that. Remember Star Fox on the Super Nintendo? There's a training mode where you have to fly through rings. But even then, you don't have to go through all the rings. It's about how many you can get through in a row. In the actual game, you're flying around shooting at enemies and dodging obstacles. So what the hell is this shit? You should be fighting bad guys, not testing your flight skills with some of the worst control accuracy ever in a video game. But it actually does have a practice mode. Out of curiosity, I tried it out just to see what it is, and guess what it is? Going through rings. Yeah, what'd you expect? So once again, I'm at the next part. The message flashes on the screen for barely a second, and then you have 6 seconds to do whatever. Fuck. Back to the rings again. You know, if I had 2 consecutive chances, I might be able to figure it out. But instead, I'm too surprised when I finally get there to act in 6 seconds and with no time to read what it's telling me to do. And am I really doing this? Is this a Superman game? Flying through rings? Is that the best they could come up with? That's like if they made a Batman game where all he does is just play hopscotch.
This looks like a job for Superman.
Okay, time for the 6-second car stage again. Get off! Get off! Here we go. Got the car. Now what? Oh, the timer reset to 11. That's weird. But what do I do with the car? Okay, so there's another car coming. Can I stop it? Oh, this is the shits. This is the shits. Basically, you got to pick up both these cars and throw them before they hit the people. But guess what's after that? More rings! And after that, you got to pick up a police car and carry it to the goal. I'm starting to notice a pattern here. You go through rings, pick up cars, go through rings, and pick up cars. So I get to the goal, and guess what's next? Seriously, I want you to just take a guess what comes after this. More rings? Yeah. What kind of game is this? Is this some sort of insanity test? Well, I'm done. I'm sorry, but that's all I can do. This game doesn't even qualify as shit. It's like the equivalent of shit taking a shit. This is unspeakably, shockingly bad. It's sickeningly loathsome. It's a fucking suffering to the mind. It's a bunch of fuck and it doesn't belong on this planet. Somebody's gotta take care of it. This is a job for the fucking nerd.
Man, in the 80s and 90s, there was nothing bigger than pro wrestling. It was as close as you can get to watching real-life superheroes fight it out for our entertainment. I know it's fake or choreographed or whatever, but how do you fake landing on somebody with 300 pounds of man-ass? They were just flying through the air and just smashing each other with steel chairs and all that shit. It was like watching an action movie happen live on TV. And of course, anything that's popular gets made into video games. And you're probably wondering, are these games complete shit? Yeah, a lot of them are, but it's the kind of shit you couldn't even imagine. Like, I'm talking day after binging on buffalo wings and beer shit. The kind of shit that never wipes. Never wipes. Never. First up, Tag Team Wrestling on NES. This game came out the same year as Pro Wrestling, which is a decent game, so it gets spared. Anyway, Tag Team Wrestling starts right up with no character selection or anything. You play as some long-haired guy with the stubbiest punch possible. The A button punches, but the B button does absolutely dick as far as I can tell. You run around mashing the A button, hoping your deformed stump hits the other guy, and then you both run into the ropes and hope for the best. I seriously have no idea what the hell I'm doing in this. Whenever the bad guys put me in a hold or try to slam me, a guy, who I'm guessing is my tag partner, comes out of the corner and does absolutely nothing. I don't know if he's automatic or what, but no matter how much I beat on these guys, they always seem to kick my ass and pin me. Winner is Strong Bads. At first it sounds like a hilarious typo, but actually Strong Bads is the name of one of the teams in the game. But what I think it really means is that this game is strongly bad! Next up, we got the real deal, WWF WrestleMania, the first licensed WWF game for the NES. Turn it on and you get a nice view of the Acclaim logo and someone's drunk sunburned grandpa tearing off his shirt while screaming. Ah! I know it's Hulk Hogan, but come on, is this the best they can make the Hulkster look? He looks ridiculous. Bigger, better, badder. Well, which is it? I'll give you one fucking guess. From the start, there's two modes, Standard and Tournament. Standard is single one-on-one matches, while Tournament mode is like your basic arcade ladder mode. Choose a wrestler, choose an opponent, and then run around the ring like an asshole for a few minutes, swinging at nothing. When health gets low, the game starts throwing power-ups. But you're only able to collect the power-ups specific to your wrestler. $1 Million Man has dollar signs, Andre the Giant has what looks like big-ass hams, and Hulk Hogan gets crosses? Who the fuck does he think he is, Simon Belmont? I guess it's because Hulk always said to say your prayers and eat your vitamins, but it's still kind of weird. Maybe Nintendo and WWF thought it'd be kind of weird if kids saw wrestlers taking pills in the game. They thought maybe steroids or something. I don't know, but the thing that pisses me off is that I can't figure out how to pin anybody. I hit every goddamn button possible and there's only 2 of them. $1 Million Man's just lying there with his gut in the air and all Hulk does is dance around like a jackass. Eventually I pin the guy, but fuck if I know how. I guess I just happened to hit the magic combination of buttons. I'm sorry, I can't play this one anymore. I know it's supposed to be a classic, but back then we didn't know any better. We didn't have any other options. Oh, but that's not the end of it, because there's a lot more WWF wrestling games on the NES, and oh my god, I wonder who published them. Ugh. Oh. Oh. WrestleMania was bad, but I gotta say, LJN really turns up the diarrhea dial on the WWF suckery. WrestleMania Challenge plays at an isometric view, which does not translate well to the NES controller. If you were running around like an idiot in the original WrestleMania, get ready! Trying to hit a guy here is like trying to hit a grain of sand with a tennis racket while Andre the Giant farts directly into your nostrils. Steel Cage Challenge, well, it has a steel cage mode. If you like glimpsing the wrestlers through the cage, get the cage out of the way, I can't see anything. And in King of the Ring, you can literally hit one button over and over and beat the guy. Just kick him to the ground and repeatedly stomp his dick, then pin him for the slowest 3 count in history. How long am I going to be cursed to walk this earth and play LJN games? When are they going to run out? You know how I feel about these wastes of plastic and circuitry, but guess what? They made WWF games for the Super Nintendo too. Super WrestleMania, LJN. Royal Rumble, LJN. Raw, LJN. It doesn't matter if it's 8-bit or 16-bit, I still have no idea what I'm doing. I hit every button and mash them as fast as I can, but the computer always ends up beating me. The sound is shit, the graphics are boring as fuck. The only real difference between these shitfests is the roster. These games were all about the grappling, so you hold on to them and tap the buttons like crazy till you throw them into some special move. That's what these were all about. They're exactly what you'd expect from LJN, and Vince McMahon should be ashamed of himself for whoring out his product to such inept game designers. Oh, these games are an insult to wrestlers, they're an insult to wrestling fans, and they're an insult to gamers in general. However, thankfully, there is a WWF game on the Super Nintendo that's not made by LJN, WrestleMania the Arcade game by Midway Acclaim. This game definitely has a different feel than the others. As a matter of fact, it's kind of fun. It goes with the digitized graphics that Midway games were famous for back then. Sure, it's got its problems, but the control's pretty fluid and doesn't take itself too seriously. It plays pretty close to Mortal Kombat with strong and weak punch and all that. There's even crazy special attacks like The Undertaker shooting out ghosts and slamming you with gravestones. This feels like a game. It's still fairly difficult, especially when you play for the World Wrestling Federation Championship. In that mode, you fight 2 guys at a time, and it's cheap. The computer just gangs up and beats the fuck out of you until you're dead. This mode sucks, but not worse than the other games I played. If you want something more like a regular game, stick to the Intercontinental Championship. That's fun to say 3 times fast. The game is over the top and feels like a cross between Mortal Kombat and NBA Jam. Also, it has Vince McMahon himself doing the commentary. There is one problem with the game, that it has a weak roster with only 6 different characters and none that I really care for that much, except for The Undertaker. I mean, there's Bret Hart too, but come on, who wants to play as Lex Luger or Doink? Surprisingly, the Genesis version has more characters, adding Bam Bam Bigelow and Yokozuna, but the graphics and sound aren't as good as the Super Nintendo version. But if you have to pick up a WWF game, I'd recommend this one on either system. It even came out on 32X, if you're into that heap of shit. Wow, it's nice to play something decent for once. But now I'm gonna fuck that up. Kinda like putting on a new pair of underwear and then taking a shit in it right away. This is Super Brawl. It's WCW, so it's a little change of pace, maybe a little different. Also, it's not LJN, so maybe it won't be that bad.
Ladies and gentlemen.
Well, the sound is pretty good. Clear voice sample, nice colorful logo. We're off to an alright start. What the fuck? Okay, I get it. He's wearing shorts that are the same color as his skin for some reason. Like he's wearing yellow shorts, but they made all his skin yellow, which makes no sense, but it looks like he's fucking naked. It's totally like he's naked. Look! He looks like a naked, dickless mannequin man with invisible knees. Wow.
Show me respect.
And how about the most annoying character select screen possible?
Who deserves the belt?
I don't know who the fuck most of these guys are, and they have no names. Who are these people? They just shout random slogans at me and move at about 2 frames per second.
Invincible.
Whatever, I'll pick Ric Flair. And of course it controls like ass. The punches take almost a full second delay. And seriously, why does everyone walk around like there's shit caked up their ass? Fuck this piece of shit, I'm done. Let me tell you something, brother. This game is the worst there is, the worst there was, and the worst there ever will be. Woo! It's a limousine fucking jet plane sucking diarrhea drinking asshole stinking hell on earth in a cartridge, and I'm gonna open up a whole can of whoop ass on it. And that's the bottom line. Because the fucking nerd said so. Okay. Alright, well this one's on the right track. The controls are simple. Y attacks, B jumps, and A pins. It's got balls to the wall, bone-crunching, high-flying action, all the stuff you'd want in a wrestling game. And it's made by the king of fighting games, Capcom. Not to mention, it features Mayor Mike Hagar from Final Fight as a playable character. I need a lot of practice with this game, but it looks and sounds great with that distinct Capcom feel. Seriously, why couldn't they give all the WWF games to Capcom instead of giving 6 of them to one of the worst video game companies in existence? Oh, and did I mention the toy line? LJN made the toys too, and those fucking sucked also. What are they thinking? Man, if LJN stood for Laughin' Jokin' Numbnuts, then WWF must have stood for Wisecrackin' Wiener Fuck Farts. It's winter, it's fucking cold, we're playing some winter games. Oh boy. But anyway, let me get the greeting out of the way. Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah, happy everybody, happy holidays. And if you have a problem with happy holidays, then happy shut the fuck up. But there ain't nothing happy about this shit.
This is Winter Games on the NES. It's one of those Olympic sporting games, which seems like a simple concept. How bad could it possibly be? But this is just one piece of the turd shat out by Epix. They made Summer Games, California Games, World Games, and of course Winter Games, which found its way on every home console known to mankind. The Commodore, Amiga, Apple computers, and the Atari 2600, just to name a few. And to be fair, most of them weren't that bad for the time. They're simple sporting games that anyone could pick up and play. But then comes the NES version. You'd expect this one to be a huge improvement, but let's see. Alright, the game boots up and a runner comes to light an Olympic torch. Yeah, cool. Can I skip it? What's the point? I don't want to watch this. I want to play the game. I guess the programmers were really impressed with their work here. It looks okay, but it's not worth staring at every time you start the fucking game. Even more senseless, they actually give you an option of replaying the intro. I obviously saw it once. Why the fuck would I want to see it again? The name entry screen is a disaster. You can't move the cursor up or down. It only goes left and right. Isn't that fun? Not to mention, they only let you spell 4-letter words, which I can think of plenty, but how many names would have less than 4 letters? If you try to add a 5th letter, it goes back and replaces the first letter. Then you gotta figure out how to start over. When it reaches the last letter, why couldn't it just stop? The simplest thing to do is to type in all A's, then go left once to get to the enter button. Because why put in a name anyway? It's not like the game's gonna save it, but if it did, I guarantee most of the high scores would belong to The point is, how hard is it to program something as simple as a name entry screen? If they can't even get that right, then whoa, wait till you see the game. In the Atari 2600 version, you compete in different events like bobsledding and skiing. It was simple, but it worked. So being that this is NES, they're obviously going to top what they did before, right? You know, jumping over to a newer console, there's going to be some improvements, maybe some more events. The Atari version had 7 events, so we can assume that this one will have 4? Only 4? The NES just got its 8-bit ass handed to it by the Atari 2600. Well, that's fine with me. Spares me the shittiness. It makes you wonder how it compares with the Atari 7800. Well, this one too had only 4, but some of the events are different. So in total, between the two consoles, it's as if they have the same amount of games as the Atari 2600, but when the 7800 and the NES came out, they divided them between the two. I've never heard of that happening before. The first event is called Hot Dog Aerials. I wonder what that could be. Oh, ski jump. Okay. Why is it called Hot Dog Aerials? Well, all that happens here, you jump, you crash, you jump, you crash, you jump, and you crash. Very rarely I've gotten the fucker to land by some sort of luck. All you can do is jerk the D-pad around and hope for the best. Fuck! What people could be sadistic enough to design a game with such a dysfunctional control scheme? The only people in the world who would call the ski jump Hot Dog Aerials. Next is speed skating. I'm surprised it's not called Cat Tit Bingo. Okay, so the first thing that happens, your opponent speeds away, but you just stand there. You try every button on the controller until you realize you're supposed to tap right and left on the D-pad repeatedly. It's hell on your fingers, and it ranks right up there with Ghostbusters when you have to go up the stairs by tapping A and B. Is this supposed to be fun? Is it supposed to be challenging? Rocking the D-pad left and right? Was this game designed for monkeys? They don't even have the courtesy to explain it. You need the manual. There is a practice mode, but it's the same exact thing as the regular game. There's no on-screen instructions whatsoever. How do you like that music? Listen. Exquisite. Isn't that the most beautiful, radiant sound that has ever been blessed upon your soul? Its exuberant tonality harmoniously blends the dying squeals of electronic goats with the melodic rapture of diarrhea bubbling from a coyote's crap hole. Next, let's try the bobsled. Okay, I don't get this at all. What's all this shit on the screen? Am I supposed to be looking here or here? I guess that's the bobsled. Is that the slope? The shading looks like crap. Literally, it's like they poured diarrhea into an ice maker. And what's that jumbled white shit? Is it scrambled Japanese text that's glitching up? Do I need to take the cartridge out and blow on it? Or is it supposed to be clouds? All you do is steer the bobsled using left or right. So once again, the only control that you use is the D-pad. It's funny how the NES controller has two big bright red buttons that never seem to come in handy. In fact, I believe the B button is never even used once in the entire game. So this is actually very simple, but because the screen is all split up like comic book panels with a speedometer and other unnecessary bullshit, it makes it look like it's more complicated than it really is. Well, there's only one event left, figure skating. There is no hope for this game redeeming itself. This is the worst event of all. I don't know how the point system is judged, but the idea is to simply make this girl do all kinds of ice skating tricks. You mash the D-pad all around and try tapping the buttons, and all that happens, she falls flat on her face. Very rarely I was able to get her to spin, but the final score always results in a 0.0. That's pretty harsh. You don't even get a decimal point for spinning around. This is painful. The timer seems to last an eternity, and the Nutcracker music is torture to your ears. And I know this is ice, but staring at a screen that's 90% white makes me feel like I'm going blind. I'm not even kidding, but if I were to give out an award, a big shit-dripping trophy for the worst controls ever in a video game, I think it would go to this. I mean, look at it. I've never seen anything this unresponsive. I'm hitting every button combination possible. You know, all it needs to be said about Winter Games is that you push buttons. That's all it is. How's Winter Games? You ever play Winter Games? Yeah, you push buttons, that's it. Go like this. You're playing Winter Games. You ever watch a movie where someone's pretending to play a video game, but you can tell they're just acting, they're just going like this? They're playing Winter Games. Yeah, who programmed this thing? Maybe it was Fred Fox.
This is a blizzard of balls! I can't believe humanity was capable of degrading itself so low as to produce such an insulting catastrophe of ass! Do not store in extreme temperatures. Do not immerse in water. Do not clean with benzene, thinner, alcohol, or other such solvents. Do not hit or drop cartridge. Do not attempt to disassemble. Like that.
Burn, motherfucker, burn! Yeah!
Wanna play some games? Wanna play some shitty games? Well, hang on just a second. I gotta go get my mail. What the hell's all this shit? There's metallic sea sponges everywhere. There's titanium rocket jock straps, headless parrots with bottle caps, floating eyeballs entrapped in glass lids. How is this all happening? Oh, of course, it's the year 2010. Holy shit, this was all foreseen in the game Street Fighter 2010. Yeah, I should have known. It's crazy. Remember how futuristic the year 2000 seemed? My whole childhood, it seemed like every movie, every video game, it was always 2000. It sounded so high-tech and so far away. But now, fuck that! It's the 10-year anniversary of the year 2000. In 5 years, we're gonna have flying cars and hoverboards and self-lacing shoes. It better happen. Otherwise, they should have made it the year 3000. Even if they made it 2100, we'd all be dead. It wouldn't make a difference anyway. Better be a mystery than to be wrong. Anyway, the oldest Street Fighter game that most people have played was Street Fighter 2. But this one on the NES came before, and it just so happens to take place in 2010. Who would have thought that Street Fighter's past lied in the future, which is now the present? Let's take a look at this. I can only imagine. We're gonna be Tiger uppercutting through space and time. We're gonna be throwing sonic booms on the moon, Hadoukens up Uranus. Fuck Street Fighter 4. This is Street Fighter 2010.
Target versus Ken. Okay, I know who Ken is, but Target? I'll accept that it's some weird devil with a scorpion stinger that doesn't exist in any other Street Fighter game, but are they really calling it Target? Maybe it's Target. So, welcome to Street Fighter in Space. There may not be streets in space, but there are fights. The gameplay is unlike anything I can describe. It definitely doesn't feel like Street Fighter. It comes a little closer to Mega Man because of its laser ball projectiles and Ninja Gaiden because of climbing on walls, but even those games don't help describing it. No matter what you do, you always end up flipping around and grabbing onto everything in sight. It's as if the controls themselves are too futuristic and advanced for anyone to comprehend. When attacking, your enemies have to be right next to you or above you because you can only shoot straight ahead or straight up. There is a way to shoot down, but it involves doing some kind of aerial somersault, and you can only pop off one shot at a time if you're in midair. Oh, and by the way, to shoot diagonally up, you press down and B. I'm not kidding.
You press down to shoot diagonally up.
What the hell is this poop-plastered, shit-smothered piece of fuck? And what does it have to do with Street Fighter? Well, Ken's in it. That's about it. It has Ken, or more or less a guy in a spacesuit named Ken. I guess it would help if I read the backstory. Let's see. Ken, the Frontier, partner of Troy, Lab, Puddle of Jelly, Street Fighting Circuit, Cyboplasm, Overdose, Violent Mutants.
Alright, so what I get out of this is Ken won the Street Fighting Circuit, then he became a scientist and invented some kind of thing called Cyboplasm. I guess it's like ectoplasm, just with a little more cybo. And then his partner, some guy named Troy, was killed. And then the cyboplasm is stolen, and then everybody's turned to mutants, and basically, yeah, that's about it. I wouldn't be surprised. Ken is the only Street Fighter character in this game. No Guile, no Chun-Li, no M. Bison. Instead, we get Target, the scorpion devil alien from the year 2010. I guess we can make the best of it and just pretend it's Street Fighter.
Hadouken! 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 You win!
It doesn't work. Even when I put the sound effects in, it's not Street Fighter. It worked better when they brought Punch-Out to outer space. And you want to know what the most confusing part of the whole story is? In the original Japanese version, the character's name was Kevin Stryker. It was the US version which changed the name to Ken and added that one little tiny reference to the street fighting circuit in an attempt to tie it in with the game in which it's fucking named after. So you're telling me the Japanese version had less to do with Street Fighter? As in nothing?
I guess you can say this is where the series got sidetracked before hitting big with Street Fighter 2, which then went off on its own tangent. Man, Street Fighter's the only series to have a sequel which had its own series. Most people never played or even heard of Street Fighter 1. I almost wondered why they even bothered to call it Street Fighter 2 on the home consoles. They could have just called it Street Fighter. Kinda like with Final Fantasy VI, they ignored the missing sequels and just called it 3. So, whatever happened to the original Street Fighter? I have laid eyes on the arcade cabinet 20-something years ago, so I know it existed. Only in recent years I've discovered that it was ported onto the Commodore 64 and every home computer of the time before landing on the TurboGrafx 16 CD. Ah yeah, I finally get to talk about this thing. When Super Nintendo and Sega Genesis were fighting the 16-bit war, the TurboGrafx 16 was chilling in the background. It's a unique specimen. Its games didn't come on cartridges, but instead these neat little cards and CDs. The CD unit was sold separately, and it was the first CD game console, at least in North America, so the technology didn't quite catch on yet. In combination with that, most people owned either a Super Nintendo or Sega Genesis. Not only would you have had to own a TurboGrafx 16, you'd have to buy the CD attachment too, so it's no wonder no one played the first Street Fighter game. And to be even more elusive, they changed the fucking title to Fighting Street. That doesn't make any sense. But at least you get to play as classic characters such as Ryu, George Washington, and Abe Lincoln.
The mystery is solved. We're finally playing the original Street Fighter. And guess what? It sucks ass.
I'm sure the arcade version was better, but this is lousy. And the only reason I say that is the control. The special moves only work whenever they feel like it. You can try to throw a Hadouken the entire fight, and it'll never fucking work. Also, the voices sound like shit.
Listen, don't forget the many gods I do all over the world.
The only characters you get to play as are Ryu and Ken. They can only be selected by plugging the controller into the first port for Ryu and the second for Ken. There's no character select screen. There's a couple training stages thrown in. It's primitive, but for one of the first fighting games, it wouldn't have been bad aside from the awful control. Come on, do the move, do the move! Oh, you son of a bitch! Come on, do a Shoryuken! Oh, come on, Shoryuken! More like sure you can. It's no wonder why nobody remembers this game. Of all the revisions and turbo enhancements they've done to Street Fighter 2, an already great game, it makes me wonder why they weren't doing the same to the original to make it better. Street Fighter the Good Edition. How about that? Believe it or not, the first game intended as a sequel was Final Fight. Originally it was called Street Fighter 89. However, they treated it as an entirely different kind of game with a beat-em-up style. So Final Fight became its own series, but Capcom would often make small crossovers to tie them together. In Final Fight 2, you can see Chun-Li in the background, and some Final Fight characters would appear in later Street Fighter games. The title Street Fighter 89 was changed after they exhibited the game at a trade show. The feedback they got led them to change it on the grounds that it had nothing to do with Street Fighter. Oh, but not at all like that one.
Whoa. Man, I got way off track. I still gotta finish this. You know what? I just noticed. The full title is Street Fighter 2010, The Final Fight. The irony is stunning and I'm nerding the fuck out of myself, but how do you make a game named off of 2 other games and not have anything to do with either of them? Maybe it means Final Fight as in this is the future, this is the final Street Fighter fight. But Street Fighter? Maybe it's based off the Street Fighter movie series from the 1970s. It has just as little relation. Oh, and speaking of Street Fighter movies, remember Street Fighter the movie, the game? This is the Sega Saturn version. How do you like that? Knocking another console off the list. Anyway, this is one of the stupidest ideas I ever heard. They make a movie based on the game, and then a game based on the movie. Not to mention the movie was more or less based off Street Fighter 2 and not the first one. It kind of resembles Mortal Kombat with its digitized actors, but not as good. It's not a bad game either, it's like Street Fighter 2, but the controls are a little more stiff. For curiosity's sake, it's fun to play, but it just makes you wish you were playing Street Fighter 2 instead. Whoa. Alright, I got really sidetracked. I was trying to review Street Fighter 2010, and I just talk about one thing, I end up talking about something else. But that's what happens, man. And you know what? If they didn't call it Street Fighter, maybe I wouldn't have had that problem. So from this point on, let's just forget about the title, take the name Street Fighter, and just throw it away. The objective for each stage is to find a portal. The portal never appears until you destroy the target enemy, and that's why all the enemies are called target. Yeah, it is awkward, but that's what it means. So you destroy the target, the portal appears somewhere, and you have to race and get to it within a very short time limit, and I mean very short. There's a time limit within the stage, too. I'm running around trying to kill this plant thing, but the motherfucker won't stay still. Come on, I'm running out of time! Fuck! The graphics look like some kind of weird cyber nightmare. I like it. It's kind of like a cross between Salvador Dali and H.R. Geiger. Other times, you're in a psychedelic limbo with clown music shooting at frogs. The background looks like one of those magic eye pictures, the ones you're supposed to stare at and go cross-eyed. Each stage gets harder and pushes you to new levels of frustration. There's this stage where the screen keeps moving horizontally. If you don't make it through fast enough, you die. Sometimes you have to choose between taking the time to kill an enemy or just rushing through because you're going to die anyway if you don't move your ass. Then there's this stage where the screen actually moves back and forth. The most difficult thing about this game is attacking. There's so many airborne enemies that you can't do anything about. I'm climbing on a fucking waterfall of diarrhea. I can't shoot up or down, and because the enemies are coming from up and down, that's really a fucking problem. Ugh, I can't shoot you! Get away from me! I'm getting murdered! I'm getting butt fucked up the dick! Then there's the sand stage where you have to fight a boss, but there isn't any foundation to be able to fight. You're jumping around in the sand trying to work your way to the bottom of the screen so you can shoot this guy, but every time you get low enough to shoot him, he shoots first and you gotta jump back up. You never get the chance. I wish all this fucking sand wasn't here. Then there's this stage where you have to shoot an eyeball on the ceiling, but there's no way to reach it unless you have full power up. But you can't go back and get any power up, so you're screwed. The only thing you can do here is wait for these mucus walls to build up, stand on the very edge right here, and then you have to face the opposite direction, and this is the only way you can hit this eyeball. But then good luck trying to avoid all the other shit coming at you. You can never pay attention to one thing at a time. This game is all about distractions, and it forces you to multitask. No matter how used to it you think you get, each level throws something different your way. You have to keep developing new strategies. This game is incredibly annoying, but it's also very stimulating. If the controls were less limited and some of its flaws were ironed over, I'd say it's an underrated NES classic. It gives you an adrenaline rush and it pisses you off just enough that you don't want to give up. Whenever you beat a stage after hours of trying, there's nothing more satisfying and triumphant than to hear that glorious sound. However, the final stage goes way too far. It's the most heartless and abominable end stage ever programmed. What you get here is an endurance round. You have to fight 3 bosses and then go on to a final boss who has 2 different forms, all on one single life. You die once, you go back. First, it's this fucking clam-shaped thing, then it's this fuck brain, then these 2 disappearing mummified armadillo robots in a room that randomly spouts fire all about. On top of trying to stay alive, you have to do it all before the time runs out. Oh look, I beat him, and the time's still going. Come on, I gotta get to the final boss. Yes, I made it. 2 seconds to spare. Then you get a cutscene. There's no way anybody's gonna bother to read this. Your heart is pounding so fast and you're ripping your hair out of your head wondering, what the fuck am I gonna have to fight now? I'm at the final boss. What is it? What is it? What? The fucking time limit? You think that after the cutscene, the timer would start over. But no! You fight the 3 bosses, then it's the cutscene, then you fight 2 forms of the final boss. So that's basically 5 bosses in total, all on the same life bar and the same time limit. You get unlimited continues, so there's no excuse to shut off the game. You just keep playing and playing and playing. Eventually, you start to get good at it. You can blow through all these bosses, taking as little damage as possible, but then the time always runs out. So you do it real fast, but then you end up getting killed. Then you start to go through a phase where you get so frustrated that all the skill you've accumulated starts to weaken. So instead of getting better, you actually start to get worse because you've been playing the same fucking thing over and over. The final boss looks like a big blistering ball sack that swallowed Grimace. His only weak spot is the face. The ideal strategy is to climb onto the wall and keep shooting, but your beam doesn't reach. Not without full power-ups. You can try jumping off and shooting, but that takes too long. You don't have time. When you're plowing through the stage, you gotta stop and get all the power-ups. But that wastes time too. But you gotta do it. You gotta somehow make it all happen. You can't beat one boss flawlessly, but then fuck up a little on the next one. You gotta 1. Beat all the bosses without getting hurt too much. 2. Get all the power-ups. And 3. Do it fast as shit. All in one perfect run. But once you do it, man, you're on the fucking top of the world. Yeah, boom, boom. And that, my friends, is Street Fighter 2010. That's all I have to say. So Happy New Year, Happy New Decade. Am I forgetting anything? Yeah, forgot my fucking mail.